It's hard to believe we've already reached week 4 of Big Sky Friday nights. We're nearly halfway through the high school football season, and as the weather gets colder, the offenses begin to heat things up. I've got statewide high school highlights to keep all of us warm over the next 20 minutes. So without further ado, let's kick things off with our game of the week. Over in Frenchtown, the Broncs are celebrating homecoming, but there's little time to cheer. The defending Class A champs are in town in a battle of the undefeated. It's going to be all about the defense. As the old saying goes, talk is cheap. Let's see these highlights. Broncs get the first crack at it, and check out the wheels on Cole Johnson, making dudes miss left and right. Set him up just outside the 10. That'll make way for Brody Hardy. Here he comes, clipping the corner of the end zone. Not so fast. The holding penalty backs this drive up. And cue the disaster music. Down goes Hardy, and out comes the football. A drive that nearly ended in 6 ends in a turnover 1 play later. Fear not, Bronx fans. Defense gets the stop, and next drive, it's Hardy throwing the deep shot and finding Billy Corrette, throw up the deuces and kiss him goodbye. Bronx up 7-0. Frenchtown trying to make it 14-0. Deep on the other end, 4th down. Well, that's not going to work. So here come the Beavers, queuing up the trickery. Future Bobcat Carter Kernow takes the screen, heaves it deep, just out of reach on the reception. So Dillon settles for 3. Or so they hoped. Kick might have gotten tipped. It's 0 points all the same. Offense comes out in the second half as the Broncs go on to take it 22-20. Now we head over to the Dog Pound, where we have Butte High surging for their first win on the season and the visiting Big Sky Eagles trying to stay undefeated. We start on the Bulldogs' second offensive drive. Colton Scher hands it off to Burke Magruder, and Eagles safety Cormac back comes in with the hard hit to force the fumble. Big Sky recovers the ball in the end zone. What a huge defensive takeaway from the Eagles. The Eagles are looking to capitalize, and they do, when quarterback Avery Olmley loads up the deep ball to find Cormac Batt sprinting for the end zone, and Cormac gets tackled just shy of the Holy Land. What a huge pass and catch from these two teammates. Then this big play sets up Olmley to scramble and run into the end zone to give Big Sky the early 7-0 lead. Now the Eagles are set to kick it off to the Bulldogs, but a huge doink goes off a Butte blocker, and Adam Guajardo recovers the pigskin for Big Sky. That's something you don't see every day, and great reaction from Guajardo to swoop in and snag the ball. But it's Butte who goes on to shake off the early mistakes to capture their first win on the season by a final 21-14. Over in Missoula, where the Helena Capital Bruins took on the Hellgate Knights, this was a rough one. The Bruins just played harder, better, faster, stronger, you name it. Walker Desrozier pushed the Knights out of the way like they were nothing, getting the Capital their second touchdown for the night. The bloodshed didn't stop there. A nice clean throw from Merrick Hellish, future Grizz, straight into the hands of Dylan Almquist for an uncontested sprint into the end zone. Another perfect throw from Hellish to Connor Toivonen, stumbling out of our frame and got a touchdown by the skin of his teeth. Almquist again sprinting in the end zone with no resistance, and by halftime the Bruins led 42-0. Bruins starting to look like a team not to be reckoned with in the Western Double-A. Consistent throws, fast feet, solid defense, they all lead this team to victory, with the final score being 42-6. High school action is just getting started out here, so stick around. We'll be right back with more. But first, here's a look at some out-of-town scores.
Say yes.
Thanks for sticking with us. The fun continues out east in the city of Bobcats, Big Sky Ski Resort, and of course, Becker Breakdowns. Our NBC Montana's Ethan Becker is staying by live in Van Winkle Stadium, where the Hawks hosted Great Falls tonight. Ethan.
Alex, this game showed how close potentially the Eastern AA Conference could be throughout the rest of the season, as we had a stunner for Bozeman's homecoming game. But before we can get to the Bozeman Great Falls highlights, let's actually take it down the road, I-90, for some Class B action. For the first time since 1997, taking on Anaconda. And this was all Wolves. Opening drive, wind doesn't matter. Cannon Richmond hits a wide open Marcus Pestel for a 39-yard score. Three Forks takes the lead, and the defense was making plays as well. It's quarterback on quarterback robbery. Richmond picks off Travis Dye, and the Wolves take over in Copperhead territory. And Richmond capitalizes. He's easily into the end zone for 6. Three Forks in complete control and weren't done in the first quarter. Next drive, Richmond finds Pestel again for their second TD connection of the game as Three Forks continues its historic start with another dominant victory. Over at Van Winkle Stadium, Bozeman looking to extend its 15-game winning streak facing Great Falls, but the Hawks were down 7 entering the second half. Ben Wheeler punches it in on 4th down, tie game at 7. Bison respond. Fourth quarter, Mason Krall goes nearly untouched from 12 yards out to hand the lead back to Great Falls, but the Bison defense comes up big. Luke Aker jumps Cash Embry's pass and runs it back for a pick 6. Great Falls is in control, and the Bison hold strong. Next drive, Embry gets the first down, but the ball pops out and is recovered by Tiber Hagan. And for the first time since 2011, Great Falls defeats Bozeman 28-7. That loss for Bozeman also snapped a 16-game winning streak right here at Van Winkle Stadium. The Hawks will need to bounce back quickly as they host undefeated Gallatin Raptor squad next week for the Crosstown Showdown. Three Forks will take their historic start into South B Conference play on the road at Jefferson next week. But that does it for my Big Sky Friday Nights recap. Live in Bozeman, Ethan Becker, NBC Montana Sports. Take it away, Alex.
Whew, big upset. Thank you, Ethan. Let's get right back into the action. Now over to Corvallis, where the Blue Devils hosted the Butte Central Maroons. It was a great night for a Blue Devil homecoming. Starting on the second drive, there goes Logan Avery headed for the end zone, and that's a quick 6. And what followed was the first of a couple wacky 2-point conversion formations. And the weirdness worked with Avery slamming his way in for 2. Corvallis would soon reach pay dirt again with another Avery score. This time, though, through the air, Butte Central would respond with this rumbling run by Justice McGee for a first quarter tutty. But the Maroon momentum was short-lived. Ultimately, it was the hometown kids who played with an edge all night. Runs like this by Aiden Spencer. You run the ball. No, you run the ball. They all can carry the rock. And senior quarterback Aiden Main also got in on the act many times. Here he starts at midfield. That's no problem. Once he meets the D, he throws in a stiff arm for good measure. Still not done, setting up yet another scoring drive. Corvallis rolled in this one over the Maroons 60-21. And it's homecoming time in Columbia Falls, hosting their neighbors in the north, the Whitefish Bulldogs. To put it bluntly, this is the game on NFL Red Zone that never gets shown on TV. And dudes like Scotty Dalen are the reason why. Bain and Johnson, look out. He's thrown to the ground. Put a fork in that drive. Now it's the Bulldogs' turn. Calvin Eisenbarth, a little mobility, and gets it to Riley Zatuni. Heads up, balls on the grass. Be sure to thank your linemen, ladies and gentlemen. But things ain't going to get prettier. Low snap, quarterback's got to go get it. Watch out, Caden Caber wraps up the legs. Good technique there. And brace yourselves, football fans. We have points! It's Cooper Ross burying it from 40-plus yards. It's an ugly game, but guess what? That kick is a game winner. Columbia Falls wins it 3-0. And don't go anywhere. It's almost time for you to help us decide our Play of the Week winner. But let's check out some more out-of-town scores first.
NBC Montana High School Football Play of the Week, sponsored by Republic Services.
Listen, I get paid to hype up the best plays of the week. I could never decide who's best. That's where you come in. But first, you have to see the candidates. Our first play takes us to Corvallis. How about a little big boy football from Blue Devil QB 8 in Maine? Throw up the stiff arm and say, "Get off me, little man," for the huge run. That'll turn a few heads. Play number 2 will show off the arm of Capital's Merrick Mahelish, just an 18-year-old launching a 30-yard pass, and you can put it in the board. See you later. Our final play of the week, in downright insane, Big Sky kicks it off. They squib the ball. It bounces off the chest of one of the Butte players, and the Eagles recover just like they drew it up, I'm sure. All play of the week caliber, in my opinion. That's why you'll decide the winner. Head to our website, NBCMontana.com, to cast your vote. Polls close Thursday, where I'll announce the winner at 6. And with that, we've hit the halfway point in the high school football season. And might I say, it's flying by. Time flies when we're having fun. And the fun continues tomorrow as the Grizz and Cats are back at home. We'll have full coverage for all your college football needs. But until then, have a good night, everybody.